yeah, day 2, let's go. So boys are in first place, which is absolutely class. Super excited to go into day 2. There's quite actually a big differential between podium finishers at the moment and sort of 4th place, which is a really good buffer to have when going into the weekend. The first 2 workouts yesterday we thought were going to be our worst, and actually turns out to be in the first place position, which is couldn't ask for any more for the boys. They're all feeling really good. I think a little bit of upper body fatigue, but we did a little bit of a sweat this morning, just looking to loosen everything off going into today. Everyone knows what their jobs are today, not so chaotic, so it means they can actually start to push and edge out a little bit more and play to their strengths, which is really, really cool. So yeah, it's exciting.
Going really well, good first day. Yeah, hopefully we can hold on to just some good performances in the next 2 events, and then we've got the lift on Sunday, which is going to be a good one for us, hopefully, if we get our opening weights and strategy right on that one.
All good?
All good, yeah, feeling good, feeling positive.
Ready for day 2. Mark?
What's that?
How are we?
I'm feeling good, mate. I'm feeling good, yeah. Body's a little banged up after yesterday. A lot of upper body stuff, so we'll just try and mitigate that going into the next 2 events and hit some solid muscle or some solid chest to bars as well, hopefully. We'll see.
Same story, more? Right?
Feeling fresh, fully recharged. A couple of the boys did a nice bath last night, and more of the same today.
Change it a lot. So are you allowed to alternate or not?
No, all on left and all on right.
That's fine. So all I would do is just maybe slow the cadence down slightly. Yeah. So order-wise, athlete 1 is kicking off with handstand push-ups, okay? So that's going to be you. Yeah. Main thing with them, like I said yesterday, break early if you feel like you're going to go to failure, and just stay shy of that. Or if you feel like you've got it in the tank, edge it out. You're going to have at least 5-minute rest between rounds. So just bear that in mind before you actually then go into the next one. Just be confident with that second one. The knees down into the chest is going to be your main focus, and I do that quite early. Get the cadence high first, really short kip, and then knees down, and just save your shoulders for the next round. All right, and then just run quick, really, really simple. Athlete 2. Okay, so pistols. It's 42, right? Like we talked about with regards to shift on the outside of the leg and stepping forward, just make sure the main thing is you're being accurate. Take your time at the top if you feel like this leg is going to get really close to the floor. It's much better to settle and then attack it rather than just try to rush in and then this foot touch the floor, because you've already done the work then. All right? Don't worry about what anyone else is doing either. I just worry about your accuracy of each one. Just look at the floor, just each one bang. As soon as the judge is happy, stand. And that extension at the top position, make sure it hips through before you put the foot on the ground. So just keep an eye on the judge. Simple. Chest to bar, we know you're a little bit fatigued, which is happy days. When we warm up now, just start thinking a strategy which you're going to stick to. Don't get out there, if it's like a 20, 11, 11, don't go out there and crank 30 and then fall to shit. Most important thing is just sticking to what you think is going to feel best. I don't care how good they feel, don't change your game plan. That's going to be the main thing. And if you feel class on that second one, that's when you can start going for bigger sets, and then the end of the workout's pretty much there. For the row guys, I literally would just grip and rip, really just bury yourself. Only thing I would say is if you're going in with quite a lot of fatigue in your biceps on that rower, just back off just a smidge compared to what these boys are doing, because they're going to have no pull-up fatigue. Yeah, exactly that. Get your bum right in and just really just almost loosen off your hands on the return then. Try not to really grip the handle, because you don't want the... actually, it's the last bit, isn't it? Rip it. Rip it. Just run first, then roll. Sorry.
Final few shuttles for that athlete. Marchon training from the United Kingdom.
Just managing that failure point on it as well.
I think the first step for me went all right, went how I planned.
I think you managed that really well.
And then I think the second one, I thought to go for it,
probably should have held on for 20.
Did you do 20 to start with?
Nah, I've dropped at 15.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a big set though.
But I think, to be fair,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
yeah, I think maybe could have pushed for more, but
Yeah, I reckon you were probably better off doing like 10, 10, 10, just seeing how it felt,
Yeah,
just so you weren't down like near like the 3s and 4s and 5s which you were. But that's a good, like we said, mate, that's a good learning experience for you there. Yeah, to get out and just deal with
I didn't know anything about them until I got off. So.
What did you do reps on the first set?
10s, is it?
I went 11, 11, 10.
Yeah, I thought so. So on that second set, I said to you, just do the same again for 2 sets, and after that, then you can just chip
refer
out.
to 5s and like quick 5s.
I think 15 and a 10.
I think that was the main thing, is just riding that fatigue. I couldn't see, like we were in such a bad place to view, so we couldn't really see what was going on, but I could see you had trouble picking back up.
I did, yeah, first set I did unbroken, second set I think I went to like 38 or 9, and then it was just, like by 30 my shoulders were
so I'd have maybe pulled back at like a 28 mark, just to be cautious. If you weren't sure, that's what I would have called it, come down, cautious little shrug off, little shake off, and then back in.
Tried to go.
But I got to like 38, 39.
You did well to call it. I can see you pulling your knees right down. Yes.
I think a few things went wrong for us. Like I did an extra shuttle, most shuttles on the second one, and it was a roll. Stuff that would have got us over the line for a finish. Technically we finished. We've got all the work done, but we didn't technically get a finish. So we'll see what happens.
What you got to remember as well is all of you are like 95 to 100 kilos.
Yeah.
That's a smaller guy working. It doesn't matter about the row, it doesn't matter about the row.
It's not long enough, is it?
It's not. It's everything about gymnastics. You look at the team next to you, which I think they took the heat.
Yeah.
Paolo's like an absolute gymnastic ninja. It's like, at that point, we know that's never going to be a top finish. It's like bigger games athlete knows they're not going to be cleaning up in a gymnastic event. So I think that was a good little bit of damage control. We knew that you were fatigued going into it. We knew what we had to deal with. So I think keep the head screwed on now. We've got really good events coming up for us.
Yeah, I think the next workout, like, just see where we're at. Yeah.
So day 3, boys are currently in 3rd, which is really cool. Had a couple of mistakes on workouts last night, which is absolutely fine, as expected. And I think going into these 2 today, we just have to find a little bit of fire to be able to hold our placement to go into that podium position. Now the boys have openers which are pretty much set in stone, which are going to go in and hit. And based off of feeling the warm-up, obviously 2 days of competition, they're going to be really, really sore. So they're either going to stay conservative to the lower end of that, to what we practiced actually in the warm-up or simulation going into training earlier on in the week. And then for the last workout, it's really just going to be looking to suffer and hold on to that podium spot. I do think they're going to be in that top 10 for the lifting because they're all big boys. So it does play to our strengths. And then a little bit of gymnastics in the second part of the workout today is going to be really interesting to see where they end up. But they just got to be prepared to hurt for each other now and sort of just finish strong and hold that podium spot.
Felt better than the first, to be fair, because you've got a pretty long weight in between. So
I think the main thing was, first priority was hitting our openers, even if it's not massive weight. You hit both, you technically hit both. Obviously I had a no rep on that last one. I'll dispute it anyway, I don't think I'll get it, but it's worth a try.
I think it went really well. The only thing I'm going to pick on is like a little bit of organisation with regards to the weights.
They wouldn't help us at all. We were asking 395, what is it? No, they said they would. They said, do you want help with the conversion?
I would never rely on a judge. I'd always be like, I know what I'm hitting. I know what needs to be on the bar.
It's all
trying to add up in 45 seconds.
It's all well and good saying, but you've got 30 seconds to lift, 45 seconds transition. You want to make sure the person that's lifting next isn't the one faffing around with weights.
Yeah. Like even if it was like before you go in, you had in your head what colours are on the bar, etc., etc. Great. That's only a small thing though. It's not the end of the world. It just would have saved a bit of time. A little bit less faff. And the other thing is clarification, like on mistakes, like knowing like where the line is. Not necessarily your fault. I feel like the bit of the head judge was involved there, but I don't know how clear they made that blue line to you. I could see it, obviously, and you guys can see it, but it's the things you aren't thinking about when you're trying to prep for a lift. So maybe if someone behind is like, blue line, like just make sure you're behind it. But every single team was like, at some point I saw was on the blue line and then got asked to go back. But they're like little picky things, but like could cost us a lift, right? Because you end up doing 3 rather than 2.
Which is fair.
Yeah, so they're the only 2 things I would say, is just a little bit more communication on what was going on the bar at the time, and then also just standing behind that blue line, so just getting clarification on the standards where we need to be.
Yeah.
Apart from that, everything else was class. I thought everyone did really well to stay conservative on their openers and was aggressive. Mark, it was class to see hit his lifts as well after training the other day. So head was so much better. Even the first one was like, yes. That second one, I knew you'd hit as soon as you walked that second one out, I knew you'd hit it. It was nice. So
315 about 4 times in the warm-up area. So I was like, I didn't. Obviously, in training the other day, missing lifts and stuff, so I knocked my confidence a bit. So I wanted to really bank that one.
Did it feel different using that head position?
Yeah, much better, to be fair.
Don't even talk. Just you shouldn't even be stopping on that. First 10 settle. And then the next 2 just get gradually quicker. When you feel that hammer's there to drop, just empty. And just mimic what he's doing. You should be in a place to be able to do it. Alright?
Top 3. Podium finish, baby. Come on. Look at this.
How's the bike? I don't know.
I don't know what it is, to be honest.
Apparently it's more training gear because we
shaker.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good start, obviously. Boys did really well. I think the last workout, a little bit of nerves going in because obviously they weren't in the podium spot. So the goal was just to pace the initial first part A, and then part B sort of drop the hammer. I think they did well to stick to the game plan. What's going to be really interesting now is sort of, as our compete program begins to develop, is start getting some really good athletes on board and then progress into our athlete camp so we can start really piecing together what our training entails and then creating more of an environment for our high performance athletes, which then come to events like this and everything starts to click a little bit more and the language is really, really similar. So it's going to be a massive year for Marchon training, and then going into next year, I think potentially more than 1 team, male and females, potentially won that elite division as well, and that's going to be really, really cool. So some exciting stuff in the pipeline.
I asked you before, not on camera, whereabouts was the goal? How does 3rd place feel?
Yeah, amazing. So the boys actually qualified in last. So the expectations were really set around sort of personal goals. I actually sent them a questionnaire before we came, which was sort of around what's their definition of its success, what will set them up for their most successful weekend. And to be honest, we've ticked every box, because a lot of them were like hitting a PR, having like a heat win or an event win. And to come away now with 3rd on top of all of that, I think is a fantastic outcome, and then it obviously just gives us more confidence that we're doing the right things with our compete program as well. So shout out to Massey for building that, and it's exciting to build upon that going home.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, it was an exceptional weekend. The boys did really well.
My coaches were dropping like flies.
Yeah. They put themselves in a great position from day one. I think moving into day 3, they dropped into 4th, so there was a lot riding on that last event as they kind of been in a podium position throughout. So to pull together, work as a team, there was a lot of chaos in that last workout, but they stuck to a good game plan that they'd obviously cooked up before with Josh, executed well, and it was nice to see them pull together as a team and work well through that last event to get them a podium finish to round off and cap a strong weekend.